Hello, book lovers. Welcome back to another book review. Thank you for tuning in. And what are we talking about today? So, what does it mean to grow up in a world that feels indifferent, even hostile? Be Book and Me by Kim Sagwa. Be Book and Me is a powerful coming of age novel that explores the fragile bond between two teenage girls, the violence that surrounds them, and the ways class, trauma, and loneliness shape adolescence. If you loved Parasite or The Impossible Fairy Tale, you won't want to miss this book. So, Be Book and Me, written by Kim Sagwa, translated by Son Hee Chong, and I recently reviewed The Only Child by Saw Me A. And when I reviewed that, I said it was also published in 2020, and it was one of the big new releases of that year. It was highly anticipated, and people were excited for it. Likewise, this book was also published in 2020, and it was another one of the eagerly anticipated new translations of Korean literature at the time. It was originally published in Korean in 2011, and the English translation was published, like I said, in 2020. It's actually Kim's second novel to be translated into English. Uh, Her first novel to be translated was Mina, and I've reviewed that already. You can find that on the channel. And that's a shocking and disturbing story of young Korean teens, teenage girls. There's been a trend for these kind of books depicting the troubled lives of Korean school students. So, for example, we have The Impossible Fairy Tale by Han Yu-ju. I guess like school students, high school students, and young adolescents. So we've also got things like Hwang Chong-eun's "I Will Go On," Kim Young-ha's "I Hear Your Voice," "Bad Friends" by Anko. And all of these books they're all very different, but they all portray young Koreans as having very difficult lives. They depict Korean adolescence as a violent struggle for some kind of self determination. And Be Book and Me is very much in this vein. We have some youngsters who are poised on the precipice of adulthood, and they're experiencing trauma and violence. And some might be tempted to draw parallels with Parasite, so the famous the Korean film that won some Oscars and so on from a few years ago, because we have a rich girl and a poor girl in Be Book and Me, and their lives intersect. We can also see elements which relate very strongly to the Korean Me Too movement, with several scenes of violence against young women. So, how do these two young girls from different backgrounds cross paths, and what type of violence is present in their lives? So, the two girls are middle school students. They're at a school in a smallish, unnamed city somewhere on the coast outside of Seoul. Their names are B. One of the girls is called B, and the other girl is just called Rang. And they narrate the story at different points. So Rang is the first narrator. And at the beginning, we are introduced to the girls' lives. They are best friends. They spend all their time together. They hang out on the beach. They go to a little coffee shop. They have ambiguous feelings about becoming about becoming adults, sorry, and they view the adult world with some suspicion and a degree of hesitation. Later, we learn that they became friends when B helped protect Rang from school bullies. And Rang, for no specific reason, is getting viciously bullied by some boys at her school until B leaps in and defends her. And after this, they have been best friends. However, the violence of these young boys seeps into the story at various important points, especially later after B and Rang's friendship falls apart. So, what type of writer is Kim Sagwa, and what themes is she writing about in this book? So, this is a coming of age story. It's told through the voices of these young characters. They're caught between childhood and adulthood. Their parents are absent. Their teachers are seemingly indifferent. Their peers are vicious and violent. They don't seem to have any good role models around them at all. There are similar experiences we often find in many coming of age novels. We have bullying, friendship, early sexual encounters, school truancy, illicit gatherings in abandoned buildings, and so on. So we do have the familiar hallmarks of adolescent and coming of age stories. Where the book excels, however, is in the voices of these two characters and the tone and the atmosphere of the book as a whole. So, as with Mina, Sagwa does an expert job at capturing, evoking the interior life of these two young girls. It feels very authentic, at least it did to me. You know, the randomness of their thoughts and feelings just feels very genuine. It's not as uncomfortable a reading experience as Mina, but it is certainly sometimes quite unsettling. There is at times a dreamlike quality to the imagery and storytelling in general. It's very effective, sometimes unsettling, like I said, but frequently quite beautiful, and sometimes both simultaneously. There's also a class dimension to the story as well. And class definitely has a role in the narrative. So Rang is from a comfortably middle class background and lives in the nice part of town, while B is poor and lives in the rough part of town. And we see aspects of their differing lifestyles. So Rang's parents buy her various things for school, you know, mirrors and pencil cases and so on, and they generally live very comfortably. B's parents both work in a local factory. They don't have much money. Her sister is sick. And when her parents aren't working, they zone out in front of the TV. However, both sets of parents are not really attentive parents. And inadvertently, later, this class difference causes a rift between the girls. And the book is quite critical of both sets of parents. And this is a fantastic book. I think it lives up to the hype that it had at the time. It's haunting. It's beautifully written, deeply affecting, and it's a gripping and authentic look at adolescence in Korea. Has a poetic, dreamlike quality that lingers after you finish reading it, and it has, I think, a fresh perspective on friendship, class, and survival. It isn't plot driven, it's more about atmosphere and introspection. And it is open ended, and there are unresolved elements. So if those are things you don't enjoy, perhaps skip this one. But if you are a fan of introspective coming of age novels with a dark edge, maybe think something like The Virgin Suicides or something like that, this is a book that you shouldn't miss. So what do you think? Have you read Be Book and Me or any other Korean coming of age novels? Please feel free to leave a comment. And if you enjoyed the review, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more book reviews and deep dives, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new upload. And as always, thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.